So here's what I have to say about debt. Debt can be a great thing, right? Um, in the way, if it can create your freedom. So, like, I didn't have enough money to be able to start my business, and so I went into debt. I took out a mortgage against my home to start a business, and luckily, it wasn't a huge expenditure for me because I choose to be mobile in as many things as I can because I realize that not everything happening the way I need to happen is happening right where I'm at. So I took out $8,000 and I started my own plumbing business, and so it involved buying a van and tools and things like that. Well, a few months after using my tools and my knowledge and my skills, I was able to pay that loan back. And so when I was able to pay that loan back so quickly, I realized I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's where debt was a real benefactor in my success. Because if I didn't have enough money to buy the van and the tools and the advertising and the license and the insurance and the permits and the bond and all of the things necessary to operate as a public service provider, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And also, I mean, like, there's two ways that we can spend our money. You know, we can spend our money um, in debt, or we can spend it in like fair equity, like equal exchange at the point of sale, right? So you'd use cash, silver, gold, whatever somebody believes is of value, chickens, tools, any kind of precious metals, anything that you think you can exchange for something else is usually done at the point of sale. But we live in a debt-based society, and so the only debt I go into each month is any money that I spend with the incorporated entities, the incorporated things. Like if I'm going to buy a car from you, I'm not going to say, all right, well, hey, in a month I'll give you the money, but I'm going to take what I have right now. You would be like, no, you're going to pay me right now because that's the way it works, right? We're not going to go in debt to each other because there's an expectation that you are balancing your energy right now. You know, you're losing a car, but you're gaining some dollars, and I'm losing some dollars, but I'm gaining a car. But when we're talking about an incorporated entity, they say, no, it's okay. You can go into debt with me, but I'm only going to give you the debt for 30 days. And after 30 days, I'm going to charge you 24.7% interest, right? And if a person's thinking, oh, that's not that bad. That's not even 25. That's not even one quarter of what I've borrowed will be charged as interest if I don't pay it back. Well, if you don't pay it back, they make more money on the money that you borrowed than what you borrowed, right? And if that goes on for several months, you could be quickly doubling or tripling or quadrupling or more to repay what you've borrowed because you're not doing it naturally. And sometimes people get to be drowning in this debt because instead of using debt responsibly, they've used it as a prison sentence. They've matched their debt to their income on the things that they thought they wanted and they needed to have right now. There's a lot of people really struggling in debt right now. I see it. I see it all the time. People can't afford cars. They can't afford their own homes. They can't afford their own lives. But yet they're still decorating their bodies and buying new clothes and searching for their next dopamine hit of what they find is or feel is happiness. Anyway, we can use debt responsibly, and to prove that we have these free will choices, if we can be operating consciously rather than compulsively, that can really benefit our lives, because like gasoline, right, or things at the store are pretty expensive, and so I'm willing to borrow the money with a creditor that I contracted with, right? If I use their credit card, they pay me 3%, basically in dollars, every month that I do it, and as long as I pay them back within the 30 days, then they don't charge me any interest. And then they assume a lot of responsibility in how that money is spent. Like, so if somebody fraudulently uses that contract, they go after them. I'm not held liable for those kind of problems that happen. When people get hacked, or your things are in these computer networks. So anyway, that's debt can be used responsibly. It can be used in a way that um, it safeguards you. I mean, there's a lot of people that are working paycheck to paycheck for an employer, but yet the employer is no longer an educator to that person. They're basically just a manager. They're managing your time of providing a service to a customer. When we own our own time, we start to thrive instead of just struggle to survive. And owning your own time can happen through responsible use of debt.